So students, now let's discuss exercise 7.1 from your book. Determine X and Y coordinate in the following points. Number 1, A minus 2, comma 2. As we have discussed that the first number represents the X coordinate named as abscissa, and the second one is Y coordinate that is known as ordinate. So here minus 2 is abscissa and 2 is ordinate. In the same way, you can solve all the bits of question number 1 by yourself. Let's solve one more bit. For example, bit number 6, f minus under root 8, comma under root 8. Student, minus under root 8 is abscissa and under root 8 is ordinate. Now let's discuss question number 2. Mention the coordinates, mention the quadrant in which each of the following points lies. Now in this question, we have to mention the quadrants, just like first quadrant, second, third, fourth, right? As we have discussed that if this is a Cartesian plane and we are having this positive x-axis is over here, positive y-axis is there, right? Negative x-axis is there and negative y-axis is over there. According to this plane, one small box is equal to 1 unit. So we have mentioned as in scale that on x-axis, it's very necessary to first, after drawing the x-axis and y-axis, we have to mention the scale in the right corner. We have to mention that on x-axis we are having here we have taken one small square is equals to 1 unit. So we have mentioned that on x-axis we have taken one small square is equals to 1 unit. What about y-axis? Again on y-axis we have taken one small square is equal to 1 unit, right? So after representing our scale and after mentioning x-axis and y-axis in a proper way, we have to here we can solve this question. I can solve this question, question number 2 on your graph paper to show you that where these points will be like. For example, you can see that first point is 2 and the second one, that is first point is positive and here minus 1. Here minus 1 is negative. Look at again. Here we can see that first point is positive and second one is negative. So according to our graph, here x-axis is positive and y-axis is positive, right? Here y-axis is x-axis is positive and y-axis is, here x-axis is negative and y-axis is positive, right? In third quadrant, x-axis is negative as we can see that, and y-axis is also negative. Look at again, here x-axis is negative and y-axis is negative. So this quadrant contains both the values negative. First quadrant contains both the terms, both the values positive. Second quadrant contains only negative values of x-axis and positive value of y-axis. What about the fourth quadrant? This is our fourth quadrant, student. In fourth quadrant, we can see that x-axis is positive. Look, x-axis is positive, and here y-axis is negative. In this quadrant, we can see that y-axis is negative. X is positive and y is negative. Clear? So now, after mentioning all the x's, after mentioning all the x's, positive and negative. We can solve question number 2 very properly. Look, x is positive, 2, and y quadrant is negative. So, where will this A point will be lie? For example, first x-axis is positive. Here we can see that x is positive here and x is positive also here. But what about the y quadrant? What about the y-axis? Here we can see that this -1, this one contains the negative sign. So this point is not going to be lie in the first quadrant. It is going to be lie in our fourth quadrant. And it must be over there, 2 and -1. It must be positive 2 is over there, x-axis, and negative -1 is over there. So this point is going to be lie here, like 2, comma, -1. But student, in this question number 2, we just have to mention the quadrant, that's it. So here we will here we will only write quadrant 4. We will only write that this is quadrant 4, like this. But the answer is quadrant 4. Now, what about the second bit? Now, here in the second bit, we can see that x-axis, on x-axis, we can see that we want the negative number, and on y-axis, we are having the positive. Now, look at all the 4 quadrants. Where is y-axis negative? Y-axis is negative in second and third quadrant, but we want positive y. So positive y value will be existed in our second quadrant, just in this quadrant. If I want to plot this value in our graph paper, it must be over there. X is -3. X value is -3 over here, and positive 3 will lie here. So this point shows -3 and 3. Clear? That means if we are having negative x-axis and positive y-axis, answer will be second quadrant. This point is going to be lie. This point is going to be lie in the second quadrant. Now, I hope that these all points are clear to you. So now quickly, let's quickly discuss one more bit. Now, in this question, bit number 3, we can see that 2 under root 2 minus 2 under root 2. Again, what we have to do, we just have to check that if first value is positive and then second value is negative, where will this point is going to be lie? Positive and negative, that means x-axis is positive and y value is negative. It is going to be lie in our fourth quadrant. So we just have to remember that in our first quadrant, both the values are positive, right? In our first quadrant, students, in our first quadrant, both the values are positive, right? In our first quadrant, both the values are positive. In our third quadrant, both the values are negative. So simple. That means this bit number 4 is going to be lie in our third quadrant. Clear? Now, if the first one is negative, first value is negative, and the second value is positive, it is going to be lie in second quadrant. And if the first value is positive and second value is negative, this value is going to be lie in our fourth quadrant. I hope this question number 2 is also clear to you. Clear, my students? Now, let's discuss question number 3, students, together. So, in question number 3, we have to plot the following points A, B, C, and D in the XY plane. For example, A2, A is a point having 2, 1. B contains 2, 3. Third point, minus 3, 4. And fourth point is minus 4, minus 5. Now we have to plot these points in our graph paper. What we have to do, student? First, we have to draw the scale on x-axis and y-axis. After drawing the scale, we have to mention these points. After mentioning the points, after mentioning 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the negative points on the negative x-axis, positive points on the y-axis, and the negative points on the negative y-axis, we have to plot these points in this xy plane or in the Cartesian plane. Now let's draw first question number 3, bit number 1 together. For example, 2, 1, it is going to be lie in first quadrant. Where is point number 2? Here is 0, here is 1. Just look at the positive x-axis, 0. Here is 0 is the origin. Now 1, positive 1, positive 2. Here is positive 2. And what about 1? Y-axis is positive here. So 2 is to 1 is going to be plot over here. So we have to, what we have to do? We have to put the point over here with a sharp pencil, and we have to put the small circle with a very sharp pencil here, and we just have to mention that this is A point. A represents 2 is to 1. 2, 1. Where 2 is the abscissa and 1 is the ordinate. Now, what about the second point, B, 3, 2? Now, here on x-axis we are having 3. And where is 2? Where is 2, students? Here, x-axis contains 3 here, and y-axis contains 2 at that point. Now, this intersecting point where these 2 points here, we can see that here on this point, our x-axis represents 3 and y-axis represents 2. So this is our point B, 3, 2. Now, in the same way, we can plot the third point, C. C is negative 3, 4. Now, on the right side of the graph, we can see that these all values are positive. What about the left-hand side? Left-hand side contains minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. That means we have to take this point. Okay? Minus 3. And what about the y-axis? For y-axis, we want plus 4. So plus 4 is over there. So this point where these 2 points intersect, here this point lies. Here we have to plot this point. C is minus 3 and 4. Minus 3 and 4. That's it. Now, what about this point D? Both the values are negative. What do you think? Yes. When both the values are negative, it must be lie in the third quadrant. That means where is minus 4 lie? Not here. A student, the first point represents the x-axis. So we have to take minus 4 on the x-axis. And what about y-axis? Y-axis we have to take the -5 on the y-axis. So this intersecting point give us the last point, that is D, -4, comma, -5, right? So in this way, you can plot your all points. You can solve this question number 3, bit 1, 2, and 3. So simple. What you have to do, you just have to take a graph paper, you have to mention, you have to draw these horizontal and vertical line for x-axis and y-axis. You have to mention the scale, and then you have to plot these points in a proper way. Clear, students? I hope this question number 1, uh, is clear, and also these all 3 questions are clear to you. What I want from you, that take graph paper from any stationery shop and try to solve question number 3 on that graph paper. Plot all the points in a proper way. Inshallah, when we will come to school, I will check your graph papers. I will check your practice. You have to practice question number 1 and 2 in your loose sheets, and question number 3 in graph sheets. So, see you, students. Um, if you are having any problem, you can ask me in the physical class. Till then, take care and Allah Hafiz.